by the way, you mentioned we were here on March 24th or March 25th. That was about 7 days, maybe 10 days into the 15 days of slowing the spread. There were a few like aha moments for me where I saw clarity a couple years ago in all of this, and one was in the 15 days to slow the spread. I sat down. I got up at like 5 a.m. My wife, who also went to MIT, was not awake yet, so my math didn't get checked until 7 a.m. But just very much like on this napkin here, I sat down at the breakfast table, and I calculated what effect 15 days would have on slowing the spread. It was virtually no effect. It would just prolong the thing. And if your goal was to slow the spread, I did some math based on the data we had, which was very sparse. It was based on cruise ships and things like that.
Yeah.
And I told my staff, and after I had my wife check the math, she woke up, and I'm like, "Tell me if this is right." And she says, "That's right." I was like, "This is going to be months. If you wanted to affect the spread of this virus, if you want to slow it down, it's not 15 days, it's months."
Yeah, yeah.
And they are lying to us that 15 days will do anything. Like, what do you do on the 16th day? After you've hit pause and you hit resume, it all starts back up. Yeah. If any of it worked to start with, which it didn't.
So either on the March 25th, or we did, I called it an emergency show on March 30th. On one of those shows, you also pointed out, which was also obvious at the time, even the Imperial College model said, and you said this, I think, before we even knew what the Imperial College model was, that if you flatten the curve, you're pushing out the pandemic.
Right. The area under the curve stays the same.
Yeah. And it may actually, like the area under the curve, I'm not sure that it does stay the same. Like, I feel like a lot that we've done over time has, with the mutations
you
of the
give the virus more chances to be different things. You can go into the animal population and do different things and then come back, and meanwhile we don't have natural immunity. By the way, every curve they showed that goes up and then goes back down, remember the bell curve?
Mm-hmm.
The reason every one of those curves goes down is natural immunity. Okay, they were simultaneously showing us a model for the spread of a virus. Let's see, I think it's SIR curve. It's a differential equation, which I can do differential equations. I can model this stuff. And these are variables that are dependent on the variables in the equation. And the reason that curve looks like that is natural immunity kicks in. And people, the percent of the population that's subject to get infected goes down. So the spread slows down. So they were simultaneously saying natural immunity is not a thing, while saying this is the curve that models the spread and the decrease in spread of a virus that we're going to flatten.